If you could speak directly to Elon Musk, what would you say?
Fuck off.
That's it.
A few moments later.
Everybody knows who Jasmine Crockett is right about now. And, well, let's just say she's got the attention of DOGE after all the crap she's been talking about Elon. Man, I see that you make $174,000 a year, but in the 18 months that you've been in the House of Representatives, you've purchased a $5 million house in Texas. You have a $2.5 million lake house. Elon and the United States government, along with so many more citizens, would love to know, Jasmine, how did you buy all that?
And we are back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, people. You know, it helps us out a ton. And of course, it only costs you what? Just a little flick of the finger. So we definitely appreciate that. Now, y'all, as you know, one of the top Democrats as far as attention, controversy, is Jasmine Crockett. She's been out there running her mouth, y'all, saying all kinds of incendiary and provocative things lately. And frankly, it's been working for her. I mean, she's probably gotten more shine than just about anybody, with maybe the exception of your girl, AOC. So Jasmine Crockett, this whole shtick, this whole kind of sister girl thing where she goes off script, starts cursing, flipping the weave, doing the slang thing, it's working for her, because at the end of the day, this is an attention economy. And she's getting a lot of attention. But you know what? She might be getting too much attention, because at this point, she's taking on some pretty powerful forces, and she really doesn't have that big of an actual legislative cachet. I mean, she's just, I believe, a first term, or at most a second term. I believe she's a first term congressperson. So she really doesn't have that big of a legislative cachet. So we might say she's biting off more than she can chew. Elon Musk, y'all. Now, there are rumors that Elon Musk and DOGE are about to start looking into Jasmine Crockett. Let's take a look at you saw this in this coming up clip. Someone on X said that Elon had signaled he's going to be looking into Jasmine Crockett. Elon did say he's looking into Congress people and where their wealth comes from. There are many sources on X saying that Crockett is worth over $9 million, despite never really having made very much money in a single year. I don't know that, but I suppose that would be one of the results of any investigation, to find out what her net worth really is and where the money came from. So let's take a look.
Everybody knows who Jasmine Crockett is right about now. And, well, let's just say she's got the attention of DOGE after all the crap she's been talking about Elon. Elon posted on X the other day, well, Jasmine, I see that you make $174,000 a year, but in the 18 months that you've been in the House of Representatives, you have purchased a $5 million house in Texas. You have a $2.5 million lake house and another house you bought for $1.5 million. So, Elon and the United States government, along with so many more citizens, would love to know, Jasmine, how did you buy all that?
My question is about U.S. aid. Has the DOGE team found any evidence that any of the radical left Democrats like Maxine Waters, Adam Schiff, Chuck Schumer have received money directly from USAID? And if so, will we be hearing about that evidence anytime soon?
Yeah. So there is a massive amount of corruption, but it is circuitous. So what happens is there's money that, obviously it's your taxpayer money, that is then sent to various government organizations, who then send it to NGOs, which an NGO is a non-governmental organization, but obviously if it's a government-funded non-governmental organization, it's just an organization, it's just a government. And effectively, there's a giant fraud loophole, which is that the government can send money to an NGO that is then no longer governed by the laws of the United States. So they'll send the money overseas to one NGO, then they'll go through a bunch of them, and then I'm highly confident that a bunch of that money then comes back to the United States and lands in the pockets of the people you just mentioned. But it is a circuitous route. It's not like it doesn't go directly, but let's just say that there's a lot of strangely wealthy members of Congress where I'm trying to connect the dots of how did they become rich while how'd they get 20 million if they're earning 200,000 a year? It sounds Nobody can explain that. So something's, yeah, we're going to try to figure it out and certainly stop it from happening. Yeah. I mean, just in general, the whole NGO scam is just crazy, yeah, it's blown my mind, really. Yeah.
Now, the New York Post reports that Jasmine Crockett is branded a hypocrite after she took $370,000 from political action committees for business trips to Hamas supporting Qatar, which records supposedly show. So let's take a look, y'all. So the liberal firebrand Jasmine Crockett took almost $400,000 from political action committees, despite claiming otherwise, documents seen by the Post reveal. So there's a 2020 tweet, which was sent by the 44-year-old Congresswoman, that's Crockett, in case you didn't know. And it's recently coming back to light because she claimed she had accepted, quote, $0, quote, from corporate PACs, while her opposition had taken $192,000. However, campaign finance disclosure data for the period, so this is for that same period between July 5th and December 31st, 2020, show a different picture. Now, this is according to the Post, y'all. Disclosures from when she ran for state representative of District 100 in the Dallas area show 22 different entries from donors described as PACs between $500 and $5,000. So that will come from different companies like AT&T, various teaching associations, and a wholesale beer pack, okay? So this article cites Professor Matthew Foster, who's a lecturer on government at American University. And he said what's controversial about PACs or political action committees is people fundamentally see it as an issue of buying somebody's support. And so think about this, y'all. You know how much Jasmine Crockett is talking about money, right? And so Democrats, they're sensitive to this perception that they can be purchased. So Foster says, quote, clearly Crockett thinks that issue is a big deal and a way to resonate with voters. So if what they put out there was false, it's a great opportunity for the opposition to run on that, end quote. That would be Crockett's opposition. Now, Crockett previously practiced as a lawyer. She gets $174,000 per year as an annual salary as the member of the House of Representatives. And here it says she appears to have fully embraced traditional PACs in the years since her first tweet, because public records show she accepted more than $370,000 in federal contributions from PACs representing corporations or business associations since 2022. These have a spending limit and are different from super PACs, which can also donate to political campaign. Now, apparently the Post reached out to Crockett for a comment, and they say she has not responded. Now, another thing, the Post is reporting that she also received lavish trips. So in February 2023, just a month after being elected to the U.S. House of Representatives, she traveled to Doha, Qatar, at a total cost of about $17,500. And she also went on a cultural exchange trip, or several of them apparently, in 2023, paid for by the Indian and Emirati governments. She out doing it, y'all. She out here doing it. What y'all think? At a minimum, it looks horrible, even if it's just travel expenses covered by a place to stay overnight, said Foster. It's one of those borderline issues where you can form an argument for either side as to whether or not the member traveled as part of their role. And if there's a violation, there's not always reported to FEC, and that's why these things get dicey. Any in-kind, even if it's a spare house and the foreign government member let them stay overnight to cover their expenses, flights, dinners, these are considered in-kind contributions and treated as if given money. So y'all, as you can see, it looks like somebody is definitely looking into Jasmine's background, her financial background. But you know what's interesting is Jasmine's a congressperson. So while Elon, DOGE, and anybody else may be looking into Jasmine's background, they may be launching investigations into Jasmine. She, as a congressperson, she kind of has the same ability to launch investigations into Elon as well. And as you will see in this clip, she is signaling that, not only has Congress launched investigations in the past into Elon's companies like Tesla, but that they may be willing to do that again. So you kind of have a bit of a push and pull here.
Crockett.
Thank you so much. And Mr. Dudero, I'm going to pick up where my colleague left off by number one, thanking you for your service. Even though, I don't really know if they would have been trying to push you out too, because it seems like anybody that knows what their job is gets pushed out. So congrats on your retirement. And I'm hoping that you have sunnier days ahead. But Ms. Tlaib just went through a series of things that she feels like this is, other than efficiency. And I have a term for what I believe is going on. I think it's just downright cruel. I think that you have people that literally do not have a heart. They're telling us that, oh, no, we're going to run the federal government like a business. Well, let me talk to you about the people that are allegedly running this business, because the federal government ain't a business. But let me clarify. If it was, I don't want it run like the president has run businesses. The president, it's my understanding, has filed bankruptcy 6 times. We don't have that luxury in the United States of America. But even when we start to think about Elon Musk, right now, as it relates to Tesla, the sales are down. As it relates to X, he has never made a profit since he bought X. In fact, the value of X is 75% lower than it has ever been. So if I am going to go look for somebody to run a business, I'm going to look for someone who is going to run one successfully. And before people start screaming and yelling about, well, he's a billionaire. Yeah, when you know the right people and they'll just give you money, then you can become a billionaire too. And maybe one day all of us will have that kind of access. But until then, I want to talk about the fact that congressional Republicans, again, as it's been stated, they don't care about government efficiency no more than they care about government services and programs that constituents rely on. And just like Elon is hiding from this committee, Republicans are now hiding from their constituents. Under the current Republican budget proposal, 166,000 people in the chairman's district could lose their Medicaid benefits, including more than 70,000 children. The same for the chairwoman of the DOGE subcommittee. Under the current budget proposal, 120,000 people in her district could lose Medicaid benefits, including 75,000 children. This is what efficiency looks like to Republicans, selling out their own constituents to pass tax cuts for their billionaire donors and friends. And rather than taking GAO's recommendations and discussing how Congress can help make federal employees and agencies more efficient, effective, and supported, they're firing probationary federal employees, which again, in my opinion, has led to planes actually falling out of the sky. But nevertheless, which is crazy because no one has been more unproductive than the Republicans on the Oversight Committee. Nevertheless, Mr. Dudero, of the 38 high-risk areas in GAO's 2025 report, more than half are due in part to staffing or skills gaps, which you've already discussed. In your written testimony to the committee, you stated, quote, "When we have seen progress on high-risk issues, it has typically involved 3 essential elements: congressional action or oversight, commitment from top leaders at agencies, and active involvement by the Office of Management and Budget. In your opinion, has Congress done enough to ensure the mass indiscriminate purging of federal workforce doesn't, quote, impede the government from cost effectively serving the public and achieving desired results? Yes or no?"
Well, I talked before about telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Sometimes it's not a yes or no. I think Congress should get more engaged and proactive in this area. I've always encouraged administrations in the past to consult Congress in making some changes. Many of these things deal with laws that Congress passed, and I think Congress needs to get more active.
I agree. We need to do our constitutional duty, which is to conduct oversight. So again, I'm inviting Elon or anybody else that's a member of DOGE to come through and we can have a conversation. In fact, I am not aware of any recommendations that really go beyond just cutting those services that people need. There's not been any talk about cutting any of Elon's contracts, though. Not a one. Not that I'm aware of. Maybe you're aware of it, but you are aware that Elon has been getting money from the federal government for a number of years, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And it's my understanding that he has not made a recommendation to cut any of his money as we are trying to save money and save this country. At the end of the day, what I am going to say is that we had the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration open 5 investigations on Tesla for complaints of unexpected braking, loss of steering control, and crashes while cars were in self-driving mode. And Tesla tried to block at least 2 rulings from the National Labor Relations Board punishing Elon for tweeting that factory workers would lose stock options if they joined a union. This is a problem. Can you at least tell me that you agree, that you understand what a conflict of interest is, and that Elon
I am well aware of what a conflict of interest is, and we've been asked by the Congress to take a look at this situation, and we will.
Well, I appreciate that. And with that, Mr. Chair, I will yield.
So, of course, now I'd like to hear what y'all have to say. People, y'all have been so excellent dropping your comments down below. I just want to thank you for that. And I want to encourage you to keep going. We have a great community here. Y'all are very vocal about your opinions, and that's the way it should be. I mean, this is social media after all. And keeping that in mind, please do stop and share this video out over social media. Stop, hit the share button, put in somebody's email, text message, WhatsApp, put in their Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, put them all in. And also, if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. I want to thank y'all for watching. Appreciate y'all, love y'all, and we'll see you back in the next one.